Hi there, this is Grant Curry. I'm president of OPSU Local 417 at St. Lawrence College in Kingston, Brockville, and Cornwall. I was asked to record a brief video, not sure how brief it's going to be, about where we are with bargaining, where we are with work to rule, and where do I think things could go from here. So bear with me, and I'll just working on off a couple of notes here, and should be able to get there. As far as bargaining goes, we everybody knows that our bargaining team was elected by the members across the province. We had membership meetings. We elected our delegates. Those delegates went to a provincial meeting, and that bargaining team represents all the faculty, all the counselors, all the librarians, although there's only 11 remaining of the 24 colleges. And they are represented by us, and they speak for us at the bargaining table with the College Employer Council. So I'm going to talk about the College Employer Council a little bit as well. So that bargaining team has been trying to negotiate with the College Employer Council since July. They've been obstructed, they've been delayed, they've been, stonewalled, basically, at every opportunity. They've been trying to bargain an agreement that is for the betterment of the education system across the province of Ontario, better for students, better for faculty. And as I said, they've been obstructed as they've gone along. So as of December, the College Employer Council asked for a no board report, which forced the hand of the bargaining team to call a strike vote, to give them the mandate to call a strike if needed, if the bargaining team of the College Employer Council would not come to a negotiated agreement. The College Employer Council, rather than going back to the bargaining table after that strike mandate, imposed terms and conditions. And I just want to say that for somebody who teaches labor relations in the Human Resources Management program on the Kingston campus, and somebody who's worked in labor relations and human resources since 1995, this is extraordinary. No employer does that. When a collective agreement expires, you don't like the way things are going. You don't like that the union could go on strike. You don't like that. But you agree to just continue the terms and conditions that you've already negotiated. To do otherwise is to do irreparable harm to that relationship that you have to have with the union. It's not impossible. It is hard, but it's not impossible to have a relationship with the union. So that College Employer Council, for the second time, imposed terms and conditions, essentially changing our collective agreement without our will, without our consent, without bargaining. So they did that, and here we are. So we are forced into a work to rule situation, and this is the first time in the provincial college sector, at least in the province of Ontario, that we've had to engage in work to rule. And we did that. The bargaining team did that, made that decision to go to work to rule because we wanted to have a minimal impact on the students as we possibly can. Yes, working to rule will have an impact on students. It'll have a greater impact on management, and that's who we want to have the impact on. We want them to feel the pressure and pressure the College Employer Council to get back to the table. So that's why we're in the work to rule. So work to rule, as I said, first time it's ever been used. So it's all new to us. It's all new to the bargaining team. It's new to OPSU, and it's new to you and me as members. So that's why, we've got lots of questions going on. We're trying to get answers as best we can, and we're working through this together. But working to rule basically means working to the letter of the collective agreement. You will quickly find that as you work to rule, as you work to the the letter of the collective agreement, you will find out how much more you do than is really necessary or is required of you under the collective agreement. We've got lots of information out there on what work to rule means, what the collective agreement means, and the clauses that we are interpreting. And on that note, I just want to say that the union, you and I, because we are on strike in this work to rule position, we are the ones who determine what work to rule is. The college, Eileen DeCourcy, your manager, your associate dean, does not tell you what work to rule is. You tell them what work to rule is. Ordinarily, in the world of labor relations, it's work now, grieve later, because without that, the workplace would be chaos. You would have managers telling people to do something and they would just say, no, I don't want to do it, and I'm going to file a grievance and I'm not going to do it. We can't do that in the ordinary course and scope of a negotiated collective agreement while we have one in place. Right now, we don't have one in place, and we're in a legal strike position. So we tell the employer what our strike functions are and what is struck work. If there's any question about that, you reach out to any of our Work to Rule committee, any of our stewards, or me, and we will talk to you and support you in the Work to Rule functions that we have. Okay? So what we decide what struck work is. So we are coming up. We've had the apprenticeship program start up this week. I'm recording this on Tuesday, January 11th. The BSCN program started up this week, and the rest of the programs are starting up next week. So we're getting into everybody's getting into the semester, and I recognize that everybody's getting very busy. But I'm encouraging people to ensure that you are working to rule. This is struck work. This is the same as when we were on a picket line. It's different, but it's the same. We are on strike. We are in a legal strike position, and this will only work and will only bring pressure to bear on the employer if we do this together. We have to have everybody on board. If you're not comfortable, if you have questions, if you, if it's not clear to you what needs to be done or what needs not to be done, again, please reach out to us, the Work to Rule Committee, any of the union executive or me, and we'd be happy to talk to you and address your questions. As I said, the College Employer Council has imposed terms and conditions for the second time, and this is unheard of in the world of labor relations. The College Employer Council, as I mentioned earlier, is not a tough bargainer. They're not a difficult employer. They are what I believe to be, in my opinion only, an anti-union employer. And their actions speak to their strategy of driving the union out. We've all seen the diminishing full-time faculty jobs. We've seen them eliminate the librarians. We've seen them contract counselors at another college following the last collective agreement. We're worried that that is going to be the next item on their agenda, is contracting out the work of counselors, further diminishing bargaining unit work, our good unionized full-time jobs. Micro-credentials, the college is creeping towards that. So we're all aware that they want to, they are advocating for, and they're putting the wheels in motion for a non-union workplace. 5 years ago, the part-time faculty all voted on whether they were prepared to join OPSEU or not. It's been 5 years and the votes have not yet been counted because the College Employer Council have been obstructing and challenging every name on every list at all 24 colleges. So those votes are still out there. So they are obstructing the will of the part-time faculty to join a union, be represented, and to negotiate for themselves their better wages, conditions, benefits, whatever they want to negotiate, but it's being obstructed by the College Employer Council. So imposing terms and conditions for the second time, what does that mean? They've imposed minimal terms this time. They've given us the 1% increase that the Ford government deems all work is worthy of in the province of Ontario. They've imposed a few other things. What I anticipate happening is that the College Employer Council will sweeten the pot. In the bargaining strategy, they've only got one more bullet in the barrel. They've got a forced offer vote. If you will recall, 4 years ago, after being on strike for 3 weeks, they pulled their final offer, their forced offer vote, and we turned it down by 86% province-wide. 95% of faculty turned out for that vote across the province. 86% turned it down. What I anticipate happening is the College Employer Council will sweeten the pot. They may put some shiny baubles on it. They may have a signing bonus because they can't increase wages. They may do this or that to make it attractive for the members. And an uninformed membership, if they accept that, if they accept imposed terms and conditions as a final offer, I believe that to be the last negotiated collective agreement. Now, I shouldn't say our last agreement would be the last negotiated collective agreement. It's extraordinary for 2 consecutive collective agreements to be ending up in strike. It's extraordinary that a College Employer Council would think that they were good at labor relations by negotiating towards a strike for 2 consecutive terms. If 51% of our membership accept imposed terms and conditions, there will be no need for the College Employer Council in future terms to even go to the bargaining table. They might bring a bargaining team to a table, and they'll delay, and then they'll impose terms and conditions once the collective agreement is expired. And then they'll know that by that time there will be so few full-time faculty. They know there will be fewer full-time jobs, fewer people willing to vote, and there will be no more bargaining. And that will be the end of unionized jobs, I believe. And that's my own dour and very cynical point of view. But it's been 10 years in the making, and I see it as part of a long-term strategy by the College Employer Council. The question that we all have is, are you going to be involved? Are you going to be part of the Work to Rule campaign? Are you going to stand up for a better college system, one that your kids, your grandkids will want to go to, where an education is a thing, not a credential, not a micro-credential, but an education is a thing. Education is the foundation, and it's where we need to go, and it's the service that we provide, that we want to give to our students. We want to give them an education. So that's where we are. We're going to do weekly meetings where you can touch base, where we can answer questions. The Work to Rule Committee can answer questions. We can feel connected with one another through this pandemic time and through the challenges of this semester startup and our Work to Rule campaign. So let's all stay connected. Let's all work together, and let's all convince the college that we need to do better for our students and for the education system in Ontario. Thanks, and bye for now.